Hey, I heard you like movies.
I heard you like to hustle.
I heard you like podcasts.
Well, guess what?
There's a podcast for you out there called The Home Video Hustle.
Damn right.
Every Friday, we talk about whatever movie PJ picks out the bag. What does that mean? Every Wednesday on our YouTube page, I put a bunch of movies in a bag, and PJ picks one out at random. And then we just watch it. We talk about it for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we feel like doing, wherever the conversation leads us.
But do we actually talk about the movie?
Most of the time. Tangents galore.
Yes.
So believe me, we may be a movie podcast, but it's not always about movies. We may talk about video games,
Music.
Yeah, that's the big one, music. Sometimes we might get a little bit of politicalness in there.
Yes.
Sometimes we may just, we know what we like to do. We like to tell stories, PJ.
Yes.
I am the master storyteller of the podcast realm. Undefeated. So if you like to hear about movies, video games, whatever foolishness comes to our mind, the most random stuff you could think of, check out the Home Video Hustle. You can find us on the Stitchers, the Google Play, Apple Podcasts,
what else?
Podbean,
what else?
Podcast Addict,
goddamn,
all that. Ain't no reason you can't get your hustle on. We everywhere, worldwide, baby.
Hustle, motherfucking hustle.
Hey, we can't cuss in the promo, PJ. We gotta be family friendly. There may be podcasts out there that don't want his hair say all that good fun stuff.
Well, you.
Don't run the listeners away, PJ.
I'm sorry.
But this is going kind of long.
Yes.
So we'll go end this and say, hey, check out the Home Video Hustle every Friday on all the various podcast outlets. Peace.
Hi there, I'm Lloyd.
And I'm John, and we're from Pint Comics. As we dive into your favorite pop culture topics, we may just
occasionally
use language that could be considered
globaloney.
What? No, I mean...
Oh, foul?
Exactly. Offensive?
No doubt. Crass?
You bet your ass.
Sophisticated?
What? No. Anyways, you get it by now. It's mostly just
gutter talk.
And one more thing. Watch out for spoilers. Sometimes we drop them like trousers. You've been warned.
Listen in.
Welcome to the Pint Movie Invitational Series.
Are those pussy willows?
Dried ones. Aren't they pretty?
What did you just say? Pussy willows, Dottie.
I know that sound. Boom. That's the sound of a new pint.
Boom goes the dynamite. Pint of Comics back at you. Pint Movie Invitational. You folks know what that is, right? Lloyd, you know what it is. I'm John, that's Lloyd.
That's the PMI.
The PMI started in late 2018, I believe. Yeah, 2018.
It's been that long? Who was the first one?
The first episode, this is some controversy right here. First episode recorded was Andrew Morgan of the Nomcast. He chose Memento.
Yeah.
The Nolan film. First episode released was second episode recorded was you.
Was me.
1982's John Carpenter's The Thing. And we rolled that out, and the reason we did that was because the first episode came out around Halloween, and we wanted to have a Halloween kind of theme. Here we are, we're 40-some-odd episodes into this, and if you haven't heard it, essentially we invite a friend on, podcaster, whatever it is, pick a movie, come on, let's talk about it. They pick a movie, and we talk about it.
We talk about it.
Tonight,
good or bad.
We got a friend from ForgottenEntertainment.com. This is his first appearance on our show ever. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. That's an inside joke for you people out there. I won't tell you what that's all about. This is also he's been podcasting for about 2 years. This is his first live podcast ever through COVID and the fact that all of his podcasting partners live They're
scattered around the whole country.
Everywhere. Florida, Minnesota.
Every corner.
New Mexico, Arizona, New York State. I don't know. I'm making half of this up. But
East Jabru.
Yeah,
I always had to go there. My mom sent me there.
We've got Anders Drew with us. Anders is from a couple of podcasts. Yet another Star Wars podcast, which is on the Forgotten Entertainment Network, along with us when we do our On the QT stuff, the Quentin Tarantino show. And What's your other show again? I know Bohemian.
Bohemian
Geek Studies.
Geek Studies.
BGS, we call it.
I don't know why I wanted to say Bespeckled Geek Studies.
Bespeckled.
I know that wasn't right. My brain was not letting me.
No, but I'm not gonna lie. I don't hate it.
My brain wouldn't let me think of the word Bohemian. Anders, tell us.
So I picture you guys have like things on the wall, like curly Q moons and things like that, stars.
Not myself.
For your
No.
Bohemian stuff.
Yeah, I picture
My daughter's very into Bohemian art and things like that, and there's a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, I actually do like the name of the show because the Geek Studies part is very powerful.
Yeah.
Because you guys do a lot of books, you guys do a lot of TV shows, stuff like that.
Yeah, so Bohemian Geek Studies, we take very, very dorky, detailed dives into our favorite fandoms. Most of the time, it ends up being Star Wars because we are very big Star Wars fans. We love diving into not just obviously yet another Star Wars podcast. We're going through the movies right now on BGS. We're going through Star Wars Rebels, kind of episode by episode. But we love just diving into the characters, the different narratives that they managed to construct across a lot of different Star Wars content.
Right. And both of your shows, not just yet another Star Wars, which is technically your second show, both of your shows are on Forgotten Entertainment.
Yes, they are.
All right. They got picked up big time.
Yeah, more than ours.
Yeah. Yeah. Why isn't Pint? Okay. Anyways, we'll get to that. In a little
Yeah.
bit. We'll get to that. Like, why did you say that, man? Now I'm pissed off.
Now you're mad. That's what I do. I'm an instigator.
I'll see you to the door,
what I've been
Anders.
told.
All right. And another thing because I listened to your show, I know how to pronounce it. But I did have a curiosity. I'm a big fan of the show Workaholics. Have you ever seen Workaholics?
I have. Yes, I have.
And I was very curious whether there's a joke in that. There's a character named Anders in that. And the joke is that it's a hard on, but you go with the softer, I guess, Anders.
I do the Americanized. It's Anders. I'll respond to Anders. I mean, I'm a 6'3" white guy swimmer who used to drive a Volvo. If you want to call me Anders,
You
call
drove
me
a Volvo?
Durs.
I'm
I
a
did.
swimmer too.
Absolutely.
I'm a former swimmer.
Lloyd, I'm telling you right now, there's no reason.
There's all kinds of stuff going on here.
There is. There's some energy in it.
Yeah.
It's one of those shows that started about 10 years ago. So I was in my mid-30s. There's no reason a guy my age should love the show as much as I do.
No.
Because it's about like a bunch of like millennial guys and they're complete goofuses. But Workaholics, man, what a fucking fantastic show.
I have no use for that show myself.
Oh, man. I think
But then again, I'm almost 70. So.
Yeah, you are. You're 72 years old.
No, not even
Also one of
close.
those shows. I mean, again, I am also a millennial. It's a show that like I catch the clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like, there's a fun bit here. That's fine. I don't need to watch the whole 20 minutes.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so Anders,
You're a millennial.
Yes, I am.
What are you, John? Are you
Gen X.
You're Gen X. I'm Gen X. So
Yeah,
we're the same.
we're not the same. You're 70.
I'm not 70. I am younger than Tom Cruise. All right.
All right, that's fair. That's very fair. I mean, you look better than me. I'm not going to lie, but I mean, yeah, you're still 40 years older than me. So
No.
now, before we get to the film that I almost said Anders picked.
Just go for it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna say Anders from now on.
No, don't do that. His name's Anders. What is that like? Is it Norwegian? Is that something? Like...
It's for me, it's Swedish.
Okay, Swedish.
See, it almost sounds like it's short for Anderson, and I almost want to go there, but
Yeah.
it's not. So
And plus, it sounds almost like Andrew, and then
Right.
Drew is his last
And then
name.
Drew is the
I was
last
gonna say,
name
throw
is
in
so
Drew as the last name.
confusing.
It's gonna throw. It always throws people through a
There's
loop.
a lot of shit going on. Yeah, maybe. Does anybody call you Andrew?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to keep it on.
Anders Drew. It almost sounds like you're stuttering. Now, I'm not trying to embarrass you, but Anders Drew almost sounds like you forgot to say the Drew and then you threw it on at the end.
Yeah. It's a solid name though.
Yeah.
I always.
No. Just if we're gonna do this, let's like go the whole way.
All right.
Do you think it should be the other way?
Drew Anders.
So, in all honesty, when I saw you, heard you on the show, and some people do use like fake names on podcasts, or I used to on this. I would Johnny Ganache was the thing, and I used that for a long time. I don't really use it anymore, but that's kind of a nickname, and I used to go by that specifically. Right, I don't do that so much anymore. Maybe it was before we got in the Slack, or I realized I could contact you on Slack, and I knew I wanted to ask you about being on the show. I didn't know if you lived in Connecticut. I thought maybe we would do a Zoom thing or something. I think I tried to find you on Facebook, and I couldn't. And I thought maybe his name is Drew Anders.
Right.
So it was the whole thing.
No, but on Facebook, I use my middle name as my last name.
Okay.
That's a legacy thing from when I used to be a teacher, and I was like, I got to be harder to find.
Right. My wife does the same
Yeah,
thing. My wife does the same thing. Okay. So that makes sense. So I thought, and I'll tell you, if Anders Drew was a fake podcasting name, it's strong. I like it.
It's a good, strong name.
It's a good, strong name. All right. So before we get to the movie you picked, we get to the movie you picked, Lloyd has the 5 questions.
5 questions.
Let's get to the 5 questions.
Let's do it.
Anders Drew.
All right. Some of these I think you might actually like at the end. So your first one is L7 or whole.
Ooh.
Yeah, right. It's a tough choice.
I'm going to go L7.
L7. All right. Also known as camel lips.
Camel lips,
by the
yeah.
way.
Pretend we're dead.
Right. Yeah, let's pretend we're dead. Pretend that we're dead. Yeah, pretty good stuff. Velma or Daphne?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is.
That is a tough one. I got to go Velma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right answer.
Yeah, it's kind of like you got to go Marianne or Ginger. You got to go Marianne.
Got to go Marianne. Jinkies, man.
Jinkies.
I'm not a huge cosplay fan, but I'll tell you, like hot chicks in Velma outfits.
I see those all the time.
I do too.
Wow.
I have Instagram. I see those all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Yeah. All right. Seinfeld or Friends?
Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's not even a fucking choice.
Yeah.
Well, for some people it might be. Spaceballs or Galaxy Quest?
I got to go Spaceballs. I have seen Galaxy Quest. I have never seen Galaxy Quest all the way through in one sitting.
Really? Okay. Well, Spaceballs is solid. You can.
Galaxy Quest is great.
It is.
Galaxy Quest is a Star Trek riff, and Spaceballs is a Star Wars riff.
right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the last one here: Hayden Christensen or Jake Lloyd?
Ooh.
Jake Lloyd.
Really? All right.
Yeah.
He's got a great name, Jake Lloyd.
You have one of the co-hosts on yet another Star Wars podcast. I think she was actually one of the Bohemian Geek Studies co-hosts that has a real thing for Hayden Christensen.
Oh, that's Flo. She loves Hayden.
Yeah,
she is
that
all about Hayden Christensen.
Whole Attack of the Clones episode. I was like, this girl loves that fucking movie. She's the one.
Oh, she loves the clones? Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah.
Flo loves her some Hayden Christensen, Anakin. Absolutely.
Wow.
It was funny, too, because then by the time you get to Revenge of the Sith, she kind of turned on it. Like, she wasn't as interested anymore.
Well, he's a tougher hang.
Yeah. Yeah. He's such a douche in that movie. Okay.
Jake Lloyd's life just went to shit, though, after
Jake Lloyd,
that
yeah.
movie.
He didn't deserve that.
No.
It was Jake Lloyd, that was a standard child actor performance.
Nobody deserves what you guys had mentioned on the show. At one point, you were talking about what happened with Ahmad Best, and that's terrible.
God, nobody deserves that.
Look,
right.
I'll be the first to say
Jar Jar Binks.
I'll be the first to say that I absolutely, totally disliked the Rose Tico character. I had no use for her, but what happened to her was bullshit. Was absolute
awful.
bullshit. I don't like the character. I didn't see the point. That whole section of the movie with the Canto Bite and everything is just like filler. To me, I just felt like they didn't know what they were doing with it. What happened to her in real life, like with the
you could argue that goes on too long. The one thing I can't stand in that movie is when she kisses Finn. I'm just like, why?
Yeah, because you have to have, you know, the romance in these Star Wars movies for whatever reason, which it doesn't always have to have.
No, you don't. See Rogue One.
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Those were some good questions, but I think I'm going to bring back a classic.
Go for it.
I'm going to bring back a classic because this one was asked one time, and the answer blew my head so much that we've asked a few people this. I want you to take Starburst, all right, the candy, and I want you to rank them from lowest to top. This is a social experiment.
Lowest to top?
Lowest.
Cherry, strawberry, orange, lemon.
Okay, so he did
so
not.
your lemon's on top. then.
Lemon's on top.
All right.
So you are on your own with the lemon on top, which is good because you know the strawberry
You're also
is getting
very
like
correct.
all the love.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
pink.
I will say the strawberry and the orange might flip flop occasionally in that ranking. I always liked the orange more, but I've grown to appreciate strawberry a little bit more on the few occasions I still actually have Starburst.
Okay,
But always cherry on the bottom, lemon on top.
my problem with your ranking is this.
See, John incorrectly thinks that cherry is the best, and he thinks everybody should think that.
No, cherry is a terrible flavor, and whenever I want to order like a chocolate cake or whatever,
With
and
cherries,
like,
please.
It's got like a cherry drizzle. I'm like, no, forget it.
The cherry Starburst, Anders. All right, listen to me. Pay attention to me. Look me in the eyes. This isn't Zoom, buddy. The cherry Starburst, the word burst is in there because the flavor bursts through in the cherry.
Yeah, but cherry's just not a good flavor.
God damn,
Well,
this
cherry.
guy.
I actually like cherry. Cherry's my number 2, but strawberry is my number 1.
You're so fucked in
And
the head.
so many people agree with me.
No, and that's the thing is, so we had one guest on, I think it was Holly Gofrendi,
Holly, yep.
who said that pink was the best strawberry. Blew my mind, and so occasionally I brought that up again, and more than one guest has said pink top. So the fact that you're saying lemon, because my top 2 are cherry, the right answer, and then lemon right after it, orange third, pink, get rid of it, replace it with anything else you want.
Brown.
Replace it with brown. Replace it, you know what? Replace it with bird poop flavored Starburst, and it might be better.
Right.
But
I want the lime to come back. You know,
I was just
initially
thinking
it was
that.
lime, but they should
No,
come.
that's Skittles.
Yeah, but they had lime too. But you're right. Skittles was
Skittles,
originally lime.
Right.
They
And
had
they
lime,
turned-
and now it's green apple.
Yeah.
yeah, lime over green apple any day of the week.
It's a tough. Well, generally speaking, I love the green apple flavor.
Well,
But
if
when
we're
it
talking
comes to
Jolly
Skittles,
Rancher.
I want to be a purist and get me the lime back.
Okay, I get that. I will say I do like. I'm not shitting on green apple because green apple is easily the best Jolly Rancher.
Easily the best. Yeah.
And blow pop.
And you're right, and blow pop as well. All right, so we've gotten. All right, I'm a little pissed at him right now, but we're gonna get past that. All right,
We might let him back again.
we'll let him. He's welcome back anytime. Anders, what movie did you pick, and why did you pick it?
So I ended up going with 1994's Serial Mom. This was the first movie ever produced by HBO, and it's a movie that I never feel like enough people have seen. It's actually a movie that's always kind of in my back pocket whenever people can't decide what to watch, you're in a group, da-da-da-da, and I'm like, how many of you people have seen Serial Mom? Most of you haven't? We're watching Serial Mom. And most of the time, it's just a crowd pleaser. It's just so funny.
All right, well, we won't show our hands
I
yet.
do agree that most people probably haven't seen it.
Yes.
Yeah. But I did mention it today at work and immediately knew what I was talking about.
All right. Well, I threw it on. It was I had to rent it, so we'll find out later if you owe
It's
me
free on
for it.
Peacock.
I told you it's free on Peacock.
Okay, but here's the thing.
Son.
Listen, son. So Monday night when I watched this, Peacock, I can't find it on the Fire Stick. Do you have a Fire Stick?
True.
True, you got to
you
jailbreak it to get it on the Fire Stick.
You are correct.
See, I'm not like you. I'm not going to jailbreak anything.
Right. It's
And
on
it's
the
on
Roku.
right?
It's on the Roku.
So I did. I attempted. I looked. The app is not there.
Okay, you
so
are
I
right.
could not do it. I had to rent it for $4. Let's continue with the show to find out if Anders owes me 4 crisp dollar bills before he leaves my house tonight. All right. All right. So
Do
here's
you accept Cherry Starburst?
you know what? Yes. If you have cherry starburst, I already ate 3 of your cookies, so that might have made us square. So Serial Mom comes out on April 13th, 1994. It was written and directed by John Waters. John Waters is known for a lot of things. A movie writer and director is probably the first thing. Pink Flamingos, which was his early cult success. This guy's like mostly he's better known than a lot of cult filmmakers. He's kind of breached that kind of upper stratosphere, but his movies kind of all tend to stay down a little bit. The one that he had a big hit with was Hairspray, which ended up getting remade and also made into a Broadway
Remade
show.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Pecker, which I do remember seeing Pecker. It was back when Edward Furlong was still a thing.
Crybaby.
Crybaby, yep, with Johnny Depp. And so John Waters, besides that, he is guest star in one of my favorite episodes of The Simpsons ever, where
Oh, yeah.
where they think that Bart may be gay, and it has one of my favorite lines ever. The line is this. So they're afraid Bart may be gay. John Waters is in it. He plays John Waters. He owns a toy store in town. And Bart is wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Homer says to Marge, only 2 kinds of guys wear Hawaiian shirts.
I wore a Hawaiian shirt today.
Well, then which one of these 2 kinds of guys are you? Gay guys and big fat party animals.
Wow.
And then he says, and Bart is not a big fat party animal. It's a great episode.
Yeah.
And John Waters, a gay man, he's an icon in the LGBTQ community. I always feel like I'm missing something, but he's an icon. He's been around forever. It seems like he's one of those guys that's been out forever too, like kind of a trendsetter, you know,
Yeah,
for sure.
which is very cool. So all good. And if you ever see anything with him, he's he just seems like there's a creep factor, right? There's obviously like kind of a
absolutely
the pencil thin mustache.
He was like the last thing I actually saw him do. I forget how many years ago this was. I feel like he was like a porn producer on a couple episodes of Law and Order SVU.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not
I
hard.
think
to
you're
picture.
right. Yeah, I was reading about that.
Yeah, there's a Lonely Island song called "The Creep," and in the video, John Waters is in it.
Yeah.
And they play the three Lonely Island guys have like pencil thin mustaches. So he kind of, but he's one of those like directors.
He looks like that guy you're going to see coming out of like a shower curtain in the back room of some adult video store.
Oh, like a Saloon doors.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, the video store in Middletown, our video, you knew that's where the pornos were because they had saloon doors.
Yeah.
And nothing has saloon doors except for saloons and the porno section of the video stores. Filmed and around Baltimore. That's another thing that Waters is famous for, is he's a Baltimorean.
Yes.
And he uses it in all of his movies. If you want to ever go to the Sutphin household, here's the address. It's 600 Lake Drive in Towson, Maryland. Towson, Maryland is where a lot of this stuff was filmed.
It was such a perfect, like the framing of that house and the opening shot. Such a perfectly suburban neighborhood house.
Absolutely.
Exactly what you would expect.
Absolutely. And a couple of quick notes about that like area of Baltimore. Hammerjacks was apparently a very popular club that a lot of bands played in. This is where the movie kind of almost ends towards the end. And the video store that the son works in, which is called Video Americane, was actually John Waters' like neighborhood video store that he frequented.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He threw it in the movie. So that wasn't a set. That was a real, and it kind of looks like a real video store.
It looks
like,
real,
it
but
does.
I tried to quickly look through the titles. There's nothing really there that was all that recognizable.
Oh no, there was some stuff, and some of the
I didn't
posters.
see
and
a whole.
stuff,
Oh, the posters definitely. Like one was Death Becomes Her. Wasn't that around
Death
there?
Becomes Her. Yeah, there was a few different kind of bigger movies there.
Another one I actually considered picking for the show. I love Death
Yeah.
Becomes Her.
I've never seen that. I've never seen this either. So a couple of interesting choices. That's one of the things that with the Invitational we never know is someone going to pick something we haven't seen yet. Sometimes it is, and it's Mortal Kombat Annihilation. All right, Manster, let's talk about the cast of this movie. Who is in Serial Mom?
In Serial Mom, as the lead is Kathleen Turner, who was very hot in the 80s, by the way.
Very
she
hot.
was
Yeah.
like a hot item, very beautiful woman. As Beverly Sutphin, the actual Serial Mom herself. She was in Body Double, Romancing the Stone, Pritzi's Honor, a lot of other stuff. And other people considered for this role before Kathleen Turner, Meryl Streep, Kathy Bates, and Glenn Close.
Susan Sarandon, too.
Her too?
The reason Waters went with Turner is that every other big actor you just mentioned was close to signing, and they wanted to change stuff in the script.
Yeah.
Kathleen Turner was the only one that said, I'll do it, like, based on the script. So he hired her.
Yeah, she's so good in this movie.
Yes,
And
she is.
She's an actress that, it's funny thinking back on it. I can't think of that many things that I know her from, but I've always known who she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of those actresses that's just like a constant presence in Hollywood that she might not actually do that many like big roles like a Meryl Streep might do or Kathy Bates might do.
Right.
Well, I certainly remembered her from Body Double.
Yep. And, I mean, if you want to just go voice work,
Very pointedly.
if you want to go voice work, maybe at some point we'll do a top 10 villains
Oh,
episode
God, The Voice.
with Anders.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe, you
And
never know.
Maybe he'll pick, a character from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Maybe. And she was the voice of Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit.
She is the voice of Jessica Rabbit. Oh, Jessica Rabbit.
Yes, yeah. A lot of things go through my head with Jessica Rabbit. I'm not bad. I was just drawn that way.
Yeah.
All right, Master. Who else we got?
Then we have Sam Waterston as Eugene Sutphin, the dad from Law and Order, The Newsroom, Grace and Frankie, a lot of other stuff. I think I've told before I met Sam Waterston in my CM Goody record store back in probably the early 90s.
What did he get? Did he buy Slayer? What is Sam
He did not
Waterston
buy
listening to?
Slayer. Oh, wow. You're asking me to remember
South of
what he
Heaven?
bought. No, it was just some pretty, standard generic thing that was out at that point.
Yeah.
But he asked me, I'm like, oh, can I help? He's like, didn't want any kind of special attention or anything. He just wanted to buy his CD and go on.
It's funny, too, because he's one of those actors that is obviously well known for what he's done, but he also he has a face that you could instantly recognize, but you could also imagine he could just slip into the fucking shadows.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
You know, like he could be like he's a dentist in this. He could be your dentist, and you wouldn't know.
He could.
Like
I had in this movie. So my father's a dentist, and there's one scene in this movie where, like, she's trying to watch the birds, and he gets an emergency call from this really annoying patient who's like, "No, you have to come in on Saturday morning, or whatever." And I had flashbacks. I was like, "Yeah, no, my dad would absolutely have gone in and seen the patient." When we were growing up, it's like
that's funny that you mentioned that because I wondered if dentists really do shit like that.
10 o'clock.
if you operate your own practice and you want to keep your customers loyal, yeah, you'll go in a situation like that.
All right.
Hoo-wee.
Little
Hoo-wee. Hoo-wee.
a little dentistry info for you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're here at the Pint. You learn a lot of stuff.
This podcast is pretty fucking amazing.
That's right. It's the best. All right, then we have Ricky Lake as Misty Sutphin, the daughter. Ricky Lake, basically, I don't know if she's in all of them, but she's in several John Waters movies.
Hairspray is the one that made her.
Yeah.
She was the lead in Hairspray, and then that was pretty much what she hinged her career on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Working Girl, Cabin Boy, lots of TV shows. The actual Ricky Lake show.
I was going to say, she had a talk show or something, right?
Yeah.
For many years, back in the 90s.
As noted in, what pop song was that? You Can Go on Ricky Lake.
Oh,
the
fucking Offspring.
Offspring, the Offspring, yep. Then you have Matthew Lillard as Chip Sutphin, the son. Matthew Lillard, you'll know him from Scream, Scooby-Doo, lots of other TV and films.
This is his
He's a
first starring role,
Yes.
second movie, though.
Yep.
And Matthew Lillard will be at CT Horror Fest
sure
in
will.
September, where we'll be, and maybe we'll get to talk to him. I always like that dude. There's something about him.
He's always just like having fun on screen.
He seems to,
yeah.
I mean, this is, like you said, this is his first kind of like starring role. I mean, I draw a direct line between what he does in this movie and Scream, like 2 years later. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
Basically the same character.
Yeah, you could see him growing up to be that guy. Like, this is why he's so fucked up.
Obsessed with movies, obsessed with horror, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love that scene when they're having breakfast and Ricky Lake is talking about Carl, the guy coming to pick her up, and he's like making faces at her. Oh, you will love him. You know, it's just really good banter with them. Yeah.
All the around the table stuff in this movie, I do love.
Yeah, so good. Then you have Scott Wesley Morgan as Detective Pike. I don't know him from a whole lot, but Species 2, and he was in one of my favorite cop shows, Homicide: Life on the Street.
You brought that up before, yeah.
Yeah, love that show.
I want to watch that show, but you can't find
So
it anywhere.
freaking good.
You can't find it anywhere. You have to go
I
and like
bought
buy the DVDs or something.
DVDs of that, I think for like 2 or 3 seasons, but I
Yeah.
don't have the whole series, and
I don't have a
regret not
DVD
buying
player.
it all. Great.
Anymore.
Really?
You have a Blu-ray player.
No.
Nothing.
No, I'm down to nothing.
You stream everything?
At this point I stream everything. Although I will say this movie was part of my DVD collection for a while. It was Serial Mom was one of the first ones I realized when I was in college. I got into the power of DVD burning, and I would just go to my college library, check out movies for free, burn them, and bring them back.
This guy's gonna get us in trouble. So far, he's recommended jailbreaking something and burning DVDs. You just do me a favor. Keep an eye on him at all times. All
Just
right?
be careful. Right. All right. To go along with Detective Pike, you have Walt McPherson as Detective Gracie. He was in The Exorcist 3 and Donnie Brasco and Waking the Dead. We have Justin Whalen as Scotty Barnhill.
Scotty likes jerking off.
He is a pro at jerking off. I was watching that scene.
I think he's terrible at it.
Oh yeah, with that giant arm motion. Either he's got the biggest dick ever, or he doesn't know what he's doing.
Like what? There's a lot of movement going on there.
Yeah.
And where's it gonna go? It's like it's under the covers.
Oh God,
it was crazy.
One of my favorite little jokes two of my favorite things with Scotty in this movie are the joke that if you notice, he's always wearing the camo pants, even when he goes to church.
Yeah.
He's wearing his dress shirt tucked into the camo pants. And the second little joke I love in this movie, every time Beverly sees him, she mentions seatbelt.
Oh yeah,
one of her like crazy fixations is him not wearing a seatbelt. And like she will literally say seatbelt. Like it's I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. That was funny.
He's also somebody that I feel like I've seen him in more things, and then
you immediately recognize him as Jimmy Olsen.
That's the thing.
Yeah. That's it for me. I mean, it goes there, and then my mind stops.
I've never seen it before, but he was the lead in that terrible Dungeons and Dragons movie from like the early 2000s with
never saw that.
Jeremy Irons, and he was also, as a child, he was the second Andy in the Child's Play movies. So in the first Child's Play movie, the first actor I think left, and then the next two was Justin Whalen, but he was like 10 or 12 years old.
Okay.
He pre-jerking off.
And everybody comes in on him jerking off too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The whole family. How
Yeah.
like look, let's be guys. We've all been there. We're worried someone's gonna walk in. But like,
You get one family member.
That's what I'm saying. Is that your worst nightmare that maybe like your mom or your sister or your dad walk in? 3 fucking people walk in on you fucking
and some neighbors and some birds fly in the window.
Brutal.
But he's very open about stuff. Like he's sitting there in the front seat of his car.
Oh, yeah,
like
with
flipping through a porno mag.
Yeah,
picking up his friends.
He absolutely is. You gotta love a character who like burns to death in a movie, and that's the second worst thing that happens to him.
What's he got? The sign behind his bed says, "If I don't get laid soon, someone's gonna get hurt."
Yeah.
So then there's a bunch of sort of maybe cameos, maybe a little more than cameos, but Patty Hearst as juror number 8.
I'm watching it. I'm going, who the fuck is this lady? And then I'm like, it's Patty Hearst.
She's the one who wears white shoes after Labor Day.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Not a good idea.
Never.
Yeah, that's not a thing anymore. But yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh no, to Beverly Sutphin, it absolutely is.
Right.
This is the movie that taught me that that's a thing.
Yeah. Oh, really? No, that was a thing when I was growing up.
Oh, I
I mean, that
remember.
was literally a thing. You
I
didn't wear
remember
white
it too.
after Labor Day.
I don't think it was something we subscribed to, but I remember
Right.
hearing that you're not supposed to wear white after Labor Day.
Yep.
Okay.
That's so funny. I don't know if kids still know that these days, but
I mean, even when this movie came out, I didn't see this movie exactly when it came out. It had to be a couple years later because I was 6 when this came out.
Yeah, let's hope you didn't see it right.
yeah, right.
I don't know. I mean, our family activity when I was in like middle school was to sit on Sunday and watch The Sopranos.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well, that's fair.
All right.
That's fair.
But yeah, no. At some point, I had to ask my mom about that. I was like, "What is this whole thing with, like white shoes after Labor Day?" And she was like, "Oh, that's a whole thing."
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a thing at one point.
it was. Then we have Tracy Lords as Carl's date. Carl being the pseudo sort of boyfriend in Ricky's eyes. I'm sorry, Misty's eyes.
What do I know Tracy Lords from? Like,
Yeah, where is she from?
Where's she
Lots of porn.
Yeah. That was the whole thing with Tracy Lords. Is she did porn. She signed all of her shit with fake ages.
Yeah.
She was 15 and 16. That's why her movies are like you can't get them
It's
or
crazy.
anything. It's considered child porn.
Yep.
But like that's what she's fucking known for. And then, you got to give her credit because I mean, even though she's not like a giant mainstream star, she's made a career
She has.
out of being,
Being Tracy Lords.
being Tracy Lords.
Yeah.
She's in fucking Blade,
Yep. Yeah, pretty girl. Then you have Suzanne Summers as herself.
Yes.
And she's no, I looked it up. Kathleen Turner was 40 during this movie, and Suzanne Summers was 48.
Wow.
How does she look for 48?
She looked great.
Damn good
Yeah.
for
She looked
48.
great. I'll be honest. I'm surprised Kathleen Turner was only 40, and I don't mean that in a bad way. She's attractive in this movie. She's obviously very housewived up.
She is
Shorter
absolutely.
haircut and everything.
Yeah,
But I would have thought she was like 45 or so in this
Yeah.
movie. All right.
she looked really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Joan Rivers as herself in, I think, on a TV, right?
Yeah, had
On a
it
TV
been.
right,
show
right,
that
yeah.
was playing. L7, the band, the female
Camel
band,
Lips.
as Camel Lips,
They all-
with just those awesome pants with the really thick
Yeah.
crotch area.
Spitting that vodka.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were good. They were really good. Listening to the music, I didn't know the songs or anything, but it was really good. I was impressed.
It encapsulates 1994.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know if you caught or not.
I know it.
Bess Armstrong?
Yes. Why the fuck is she in this uncredited?
I don't know.
I think I figured it out. So Bess Armstrong is the dentist, the husband's
Blonde-haired
blonde
dentist.
hair,
or
like,
something.
assistant.
okay.
She is actually like kind of a known actress. She was in Jaws 3D.
Yeah.
High Road to
Does
China.
that
with,
count you as known?
well, let's put it this
With
way.
Dennis Quaid.
She was a big enough name at one point that it's weird that she's in this movie. So I was kind of looking her up yesterday or today, and she's a Baltimorean. So
Yeah.
I wonder if it's just kind of like that connection, or maybe she knows John Waters. I couldn't find anything on why that's her, because it's not like it's her because I don't have a feeling like she like auditioned for that role.
Well, when was Jaws 3D?
83.
Oh, damn.
So again, but the role is so small, and I think she's uncredited too, which is weird. I don't know.
She has to know
No,
him.
she is
has to
uncredited.
know him or happen to be in town, and some studio person was like, "Hey, we need an extra. We need
Throw her in
somebody
there.
for this."
Yeah, let's call Bessie.
Because she's literally in one or two scenes.
One scene.
Yeah, one scene.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have this written down, but do you know John Waters' cameo in this?
I didn't actually write it down, but
didn't.
yeah, he was the voice of Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
When the husband finds the tapes and he plays.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
What is it?
Yeah.
It's like one day before my execution, I'm damn lonely. Oh yeah. All right. Is that the cast list?
That's the cast. Yeah.
All right. Well, real quick, we'll do box office later. But what was the budget on this thing?
The budget on this was $13 million, and the box office was 7.8.
All right. So
But I'll give you
It's a bomb.
the weekend and stuff later.
It's a bomb.
It's a bomb.
All right. Give us the bumper sticker.
Well, basically, this is a seemingly picture-perfect mom, suburban mom, kills anyone who annoys her or threatens the livelihood of her family.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. Anders, let's start off right off the bat before we start kind of sliding through the movie. What are some of the things that really fucking set Beverly off into her murderous rage?
The first one right away, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've got. Are we talking about the first murder or the
No,
first thing that just kind of pisses her off?
Just go right through a list of things that piss her off.
I mean, she is very much like a June Cleaver type, Carol Brady housewife. Everything has to be perfect. So she gets very, very annoyed with small things like a fly, chewing gum, taking her parking space.
Yeah, that didn't.
That did not end well for Dottie.
No.
Maybe a little bit of recycling.
Got it. Oh God, you have to recycle.
She's such a fucking crazy person over
Somebody
the recycling.
ought to kill her.
Yeah. Oh my God. I wrote it down here. What were their names here? Hold on.
The garbage men.
Gus and Sloppy.
Oh, those guys were great.
The garbage men who are the only two people in the movie that get her totally and are on her side.
Yeah.
They go as far as to help her escape at the end.
Every time you see those guys, you're like, yeah.
So we start off and they're having this idyllic 4-person family breakfast and
I've never ever had a family breakfast like that.
I've never had a family.
Why do they depict these
literally
these
other
on
than
movies?
Christmas Day? I don't think I've ever had a family breakfast.
Yeah, I agree. I'm in the same boat. Well, I think obviously we know why they do it in this movie because this movie is supposed to give you a template of like he said, Leave It to Beaver.
Yeah.
This is the all-American family in the 90s, but from the 50s, essentially.
Yeah, it was really interesting to me to watch this movie again this time post WandaVision. Did you guys watch WandaVision?
Yeah.
Where they were absolutely showcasing all of the old sitcom tropes and everything, and to see that again in a slightly different way.
Yeah,
they were doing it back in '94.
So essentially, you've got this character who is immediately we find out that she's slightly off, right? There's something wrong with her. And the way we find out is, and I gotta be honest, I laughed immediately. So you find out that the cops come to her door. Someone has been making
7:30 in the morning.
7:30 in the morning. Somebody has been making threatening calls to a neighbor, Dottie Hinkle.
Yeah.
Right? Dottie Hinkle's what do they say? Either a divorcee.
I'm a divorcee.
She just enjoys gardening and living her little suburban life, and she doesn't seem like she's hurting anybody. The scene where we find out what is happening, I laughed so fucking hard at, and we're within 15 minutes of the movie starting.
Yeah.
So what happens, Anders? What do we see?
So the cops come to the house. They are investigating these obscene phone calls, and of course,
which is what cops do, right?
Yeah,
they come to your house at 7:30 and ask about phone calls.
Obscene mailers. I think mailers is the key to the scene.
Yeah, which is old school movie cutout letters from a magazine put together.
Yeah, like a ransom note.
So they are showing this obscene mailer to see if anybody in the neighborhood has any information. So you got Sam Waterston, who I can't remember.
The oblivious dad.
The absolute oblivious dad, and I can't remember if it even happens before the scene or if it's right after the scene. Who's also he thinks he's a total hard ass because he's very in support of the death penalty, which becomes very important later on.
Right.
The cops they show the letter to Sam Waterston and to Kathleen Turner, and it's something about pussy.
Yeah,
is the main thing. I can't remember what's actually.
Yeah, do you remember what?
I don't remember, but the essential, the It all comes down to pussy.
Yeah.
It all comes down to pussy. And, of course, Kathleen Turner is... Oh my word.
She sees the note, right.
Oh my god. And Matthew Lillard's like, yo, what's it say? And Sam Water says, no, son.
No, this is best left for
This
adults.
is for adults. I mean, he has to be like, what, 17, 18
Yeah,
at this point.
Well, and that's the other part is that they know he watches like what was this, blood gore.
Yeah, horror movie. He's a big horror
like
fan.
his one movie is his favorite is like this terrifying like thing, and they're pulling guts out. Yet like he can't see a letter that says pussy.
Yeah.
Right. So this is for adults, and oh my gosh, who would ever want to hurt poor Dottie Hinkle?
Yeah.
And then we cut to like the next scene. Everybody's left for the day, so the housewife is home alone.
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Is it's an immediate answer.
Immediate.
We don't spend a half an
Right.
hour to find
Right.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no
She-
fucking around. You just get right to it.
She goes to her bedroom. She pulls up the phone, calls up Dottie Hinkle, who very nervously answers the phone.
She's afraid of the phone. I love that scene. She sees the phone ring and she's looking at
Right,
it like
right.
shit. The phone.
And then Kathleen Turner puts on this like ridiculous voice. It's like, is this the cocksucker residence?
Yeah.
The voice is so fucking great. Is this the cocksucker residence?
But in between all of her reactions, to Dottie, she's like laughing at herself, and then she gets real serious again and starts up her next line.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And this is the door into what we're going to see from Beverly.
Yes, there
Right.
is something going on under the surface here.
Do you think, now I guess this is a good question, do you think that she had done anything prior, or do you think this movie shows her beginnings?
I think it is still her beginnings. I think this movie actually, again, Sam Waterston, Law & Order. I am a Law & Order junkie. I will just sit down and watch like 10 hours of it straight without...
Wow.
It's one of those shows you can just sit down, you can watch forever and not realize how much time has passed.
Right.
So I think that this movie does a really actually very good job of showing escalation, like showing from her humble, quote unquote humble beginnings up to that first murder and up to just how ridiculous it all ends up getting.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you really think that was her first murder, running over the teacher?
Yes. And I think because what Anders just said is true, by the time they catch her, she's so fucking crazily out of control.
Oh, yeah.
And then again, we're going to get to it, but by the way the movie ends, she gets off, but she can't fucking control herself.
Absolutely
No,
not.
she cannot.
Kills someone in a courtroom hallway.
That's what
Like,
kind of makes me think maybe there was some prior murders.
I would say there were some animal killings, but after she reacts to those people eating the bird, I don't know.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, that fucking bit. So yeah, so now we know the cops are at least interested in her.
Yeah.
She's making these obscene phone calls, and then she's got a PTA meeting. She's got to go in and see Chip's teacher. She goes in and sees Chip's
Stubbins.
teacher, Stubbins, Mr.
Yeah,
Stubbins.
math teacher.
Who,
And-
I will say, as a former teacher, this guy was an asshole.
That guy fucking deserves to
That
be
guy,
killed.
Well, I don't think so. All right, look.
All right, that guy deserves to be like wounded.
All right, thank
Yeah.
you. That's better. That's better.
gravely, maybe like very badly burned.
All right, perfect. Now you're a former teacher. You said
Yes.
Like, do you like when you would have? Did you have PTA meetings? Did you think of shit like this? Like, did you ever have the mother give you like the fruit cake, and you're like, oh shit?
No. No one ever gave me a fruitcake.
right.
I taught English as a second language.
Okay.
So my PTA meetings were always a little bit different. There was usually an interpreter there. There were other things going on. But the idea of like sitting down across from a parent and being like, not every kid's college material, while they're like tearing up in front of you.
Well, but
Yeah.
he starts the conversation like, "Oh, Chip's doing great. He's doing well in school. He's interacting, and everything's great." And then all of a sudden, oh,
by the way, you're a terrible parent. You're
but
doing something wrong.
he's drawing like evil pictures, and you're a terrible parent. What's
Yeah.
wrong with you?
Yeah, he's very blunt. He's way more blunt than he needs to be, and he doesn't know who he's talking to either.
Right.
He tells her this. She's angry, obviously.
Yeah.
He goes out to her car. He goes out to his car.
Right. He's
And
just
then
walking.
He breaks rule number 2. He puts a piece of gum in his
Yeah.
mouth.
He unwraps a piece of gum.
So we've already learned that earlier when the cops came to the door, one of the cops was chewing gum, and she makes him spit the gum out before we don't do gum in this house.
Right.
So as Andrew said earlier, that's one of her triggers. She runs over this teacher with her her light blue old Sierra station wagon. And
Couple of times,
and
Yeah.
then backs over him. The only person that sees it is the stoner girl.
Yeah.
Who's getting high in the courtyard.
Who
of
actually
the school.
takes a look at her joint like
Did I just
like
see
what?
that?
What?
Yeah. I love the fact that she murders the fuck out of this teacher. And you gotta figure there's blood and hair and shit on this car. And then she just goes to a car wash.
Straight into a car wash.
Straight to a car wash. And,
Great small detail.
Yeah, and they take care of everything. So we see now the serial mom is on her way.
She is, and then the next time we see her, she pops into I think it's the son's room with like a bunch of cookies, and she's like, "How are you guys doing? I feel great."
Yeah, she's energized because she's gotten away with at least what we know is her first killing. Could be more than her first killing,
right? And she really bones the husband that night.
She does.
Oh, wow, she was so. She was invigorated.
Any man would be lucky to be made love to like that.
Yeah,
I do. So
she looked literally like Regan on The Exorcist. The way she was flopping on the bed.
The way when he's banging her and they're both coming off the bed and her legs are wrapped around him. It's so hilarious. And
you're on fire tonight.
And you gotta love the fact that these two kids,
here,
are down the hallway and they just come to their doors and look at each other like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
Did you guys like? Here's something I like. Did you guys like the fact that it seems like what was the not the boyfriend, but the boy that the daughter likes name?
Carl.
Carl is the only guy in the movie that doesn't seem to have a thing for the daughter. Like even the cop, when she gives him the flirty eyes, he looks back at her.
Yeah.
And then by the time we get to the end of the
Ricky
movie,
Lake is horny in this entire movie.
Super horny. But what I thought was funny was that Carl's the only one that doesn't want any of it. Like the cop, even he's not going to do anything because she's too young, but he kind of likes the attention.
Oh, sure.
And then that photographer guy at the end that she ends up with,
he's snapping pictures everywhere.
He's all over it. She's doing the little hair things and everything. I thought that was very funny. There's a lot of little fun details in this.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they make this whole joke about that she has the booth in the flea market and they have the Pee Wee Herman doll and all that stuff.
No, what about at the swap meet?
Yeah, at the flea market swap
meet.
So
at the swap meet with the Pee Wee Herman doll, and she goes in. She sees Carl, who's not with her daughter, and her daughter was upset.
The daughter up that morning.
Yeah, because he stood her up. Instead, she's with Tracy Lords. I totally understand that.
Look, Ricky Lake's attractive.
This is before major cell phones, guys. You can't send a breakup test.
Yeah,
that's right. But this is when it escalates so hard. In this murder of Carl.
Oh, this scene's fucking great.
I'm telling you, it's so hard to watch though. When she so Carl's taking a leak in one of those really tall urinals, you know, Florida chest height urinal, and she just sneaks in there or she goes into a stall. Right, there's another.
She
guy.
goes into a stall with a glory hole.
There's a glory hole.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some dick sucking going on in that flea market. Yeah.
And so she gets the poker that her friend bought, runs across the room and stabs this guy right through the fucking back of the spine.
She pulls his liver out.
And pulls. I don't know if that looked pretty small for a liver.
I think it is liver, but I think it's like a cow liver. It's like a liver that you're going to buy in a tin.
Very small for a human liver, but whatever the hell it was disgusting.
Oh, it's awful.
And it was disgusting to her, but she literally had to get it off because it's got that barb coming off. It wouldn't just slide off.
Right.
She had to physically touch it and get it off.
Pick it off. This scene actually has what I think is one of the funniest moments in the whole movie, is when the guy walks in eating a shish kebab.
Yeah. And he screams like what they depict women as doing when they see dead bodies.
That scream is fucking hilarious.
Is that I think it's a Wilhelm scream, isn't it?
It's not the Wilhelm, it's called something else. Okay. I was reading about it. It's also another famous movie scream.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you, guys to guys, Anders, have you ever brought food and or a shish kebab into the shitter with
you? No.
Okay. Right answer.
Maybe a beer at one point.
Understandable.
But there's usually a little ledge. Goes over
beer
here.
on a ledge.
Understandable.
Food
this guy
does not enter a bathroom.
This guy he's not only bringing food into a bathroom, he's bringing multi-stacked food on a stick into a bathroom, which just seems like so much more can happen to it. Like, I would never go into a bathroom of food, but if it was Tupperware sealed, I would feel at least a little better.
Right.
Like, okay, I'm eating, seal it, go in the bathroom, do my business, unseal it out. This guy's got an exposed shish kebab in the fucking bathroom. I rewound that scene because I laughed so hard at that.
And I found funnier was the actual scream.
Yeah, you're paying $4 for a shish kebab. You better fucking be able to eat it.
Yeah. Have you ever screamed like that for any reason?
No. I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm not saying it might not happen ever. But the scream, I rewound it, and my wife said, she goes, "What was the scream?" I said, "I have to see this guy with the shish kebab again."
One thing I do also, I love just prior to that scene, you mentioned that the fire poker is the one that her friend bought, and this gets into like the little details of how everyone in this movie is actually subtly a terrible person.
Oh yeah, she switched.
The friend who was pissed that she couldn't buy the Franklin Mint Fabergé egg for the price she wanted, swapped the price tags on the fire pokers to get one for it was like $3 cheaper.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and I like how the guy is like, I don't remember. He's like, I'm surprised I marked it that way.
Right, it was like $3 instead of like $5 or something ridiculous.
There's like that whole bit where like, is it Tracy Lord's character? Is like, it's Franklin Mint.
Yeah.
Like everybody,
he bought it for her.
They're all so excited about the Franklin Mint Fabergé eggs.
Oh God!
Oh,
and then
Jesus.
Tracy Lords again afterwards when they're bringing out the dead body of her
that was hilarious.
boyfriend, and she's like so distraught, and then she sees the cop and puts on the flirty eyes again.
Yeah.
Was it? It was the same cop that was flirting with Misty. Yeah,
same cop. Misty keeps on losing out to Tracy Lords apparently, which again, fair enough. We get the scene where Dottie Hinkle and the other friend, the non-recycler, are together, and Beverly goes over and then makes it a point to subtly say pussy.
Yeah.
Pussy
Willows.
Pussy Willows. And she's essentially saying to her, like, I'm the one terrorizing you. And now Dottie Hinkle knows it, but nobody believes her. Yeah. Right? I love that bit where she's like, what did you say? And she's like, I said Pussy Willows.
Yeah. And she did it in that in the
voice.
same telephone voice.
I said pussy. Yeah. Oh, man. This poor Dottie Hinkle. And then you find out, what's the reason, Manster, that she hates Dottie Hinkle so much?
Well, the reason is because she was in a parking lot and somebody was backing out of the parking lot. She was just going to go right in. She waited, and Dottie Hinkle just came right in from the corner, right into the spot.
One of my favorite details in this movie, and it was another one that's just so odd, is that, did you notice where she was going?
Oh, the store? I didn't. I don't recall.
It was a Joanne Fabrics.
Yeah, Joanne Fabrics.
Which is perfect for those type of women.
Dottie Hinkles, yeah.
And when Dottie Hinkle gets out of the car, she like straightens out her outfit like, I'm the queen of the Joanne Fabrics.
She looks around.
And she's like, I'm the big dog here at the Joanne Fabrics. That fucking scene made me, this movie made me, Andrew's going to tell you right now, look, every once in a while someone brings like a gem that I wasn't expecting to be a gem. All right, I'll go back all the way back to one of the early ones.
Wants some.
Everybody Wants Some, which is
I still have to watch that. I do want to watch that movie.
Very cool movie.
Okay,
I expected nothing of it. Someone brought it on, and I loved it. I bought it. You brought a gem on with Serial Mom. We appreciate it. We'll rate later, of course, but I'm not gonna hide it anymore. We're obviously having a good time with this. I will say this: I do think the one, I guess, downfall for the movie is, I feel like as it goes further, and then like when we get to the point by the time she gets caught and everything, I think the stronger stuff is in the beginning through the middle.
I can give you that.
I think when we get like kind of towards the end where she's chasing Scotty, the concert, and then the court stuff is the weaker segment of the movie, but it's not bad by any means.
Yeah.
I think it kind of goes like, if this is the beginning, it's kind of like a triangle like that. Like it starts off and then it goes down a little bit. But I still enjoy the shit out of this movie. I really did. And I had no idea. I've only seen a couple of John Waters things. I like his, I guess, aesthetic and style, but I just wasn't sure what I was going to think of this. And I remember seeing the trailers for this movie and just being like, that looks like it might be fun. But I laughed a lot in this fucking movie. I had a good time in it. So we get past the flea market. What comes up next? What's next, Anders? What do we find out next?
The cops are starting to actually be legitimately suspicious. They've checked into some books that Beverly has bought. And they're like, oh, what does your wife read? And he's like, oh, bird books.
Right. How to hide dead bodies after you've killed them.
Yeah. So the police come in. They start listing off all these like random horror murder books, and the husband's like, no, I'm sure that was my son. He's really into horror movies. My wife just reads bird books. And they're like, well, we checked, and no. So he starts going in, and he picks up her bird watching book, at least that's the slipcover, and he opens it up, and it's like a Charles Manson autobiography, giant photos.
Yeah, there was a scene earlier, I think, where she's like caressing the Charles Manson
She's
picture.
reading it in bed, and she's like rubbing over like the Charles Manson picture.
Right before the aforementioned epic lovemaking.
Yep.
Yeah.
He finds all these tapes, and that's where John Waters has his cameo as, is it Dahmer?
Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy.
Bundy.
Yeah.
Like leaving her these erotic messages on things, and he's starting to realize that there's all this side to my wife that I didn't know. What am I going to do?
I want to jump in on the bird watching thing real quick. Another great detail I loved is the morning after they have their grand sex escapades.
Yeah.
She's bird watching in her pajamas in the bedroom.
But she has the
But
vest.
she has the vest. She's not outside, but she's wearing like the fucking bird watching vest in the bedroom. And then as soon as she puts the binoculars down, she takes it off like I'm done bird watching. I thought that was, again, I don't know why.
It's all the little nuances that
There's so many little
that
details
make this
in
really
this movie.
funny.
Yeah. There's a scene later on in the movie where they think she's going to kill the Whalen character. What was his name again?
Scotty.
The cop is following her and the family's following her, and she knows. And she does this jump over like this island.
Oh yeah.
I laughed at that again.
With the radio. We got Daybreak on the radio.
Daybreak by Barry Manilow. It seems to be her like murdering song. So yeah, now he's suspicious. The kids are suspicious. The son kind of thinks this might be cool because that's kind of his thing, right? Like he's
But
into it.
he also doesn't really believe it at this point.
Right.
Like he's just in on the entire idea of a serial killer in their town. Which again, this movie was actually, it was like just a little bit ahead of its time. And by a little bit, I mean, we said Matthew Lillard like basically plays the same character 2 years later. But actually, so this movie comes out April, we said 94?
Yeah.
June that year is when Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman are murdered. So 2 months later, and then the O.J. Simpson trial.
Right.
When everyone's just like obsessed over this idea of like true crime stuff.
Well, yeah, because this movie essentially ends with her having this celebrated trial, which had happened before, but like the OJ thing, like pushed
Kicked everything up a notch.
That became like, that's the thing now. Like if someone does something crazy, it's going to be the thing of the year, the thing of 2 years with OJ, whatever it was. It was literally like within a month and a half.
She would have a season on the Serial podcast.
Yeah,
she would.
yeah, absolutely. So it's just, I don't know, Lloyd. What are some of your favorite moments of this thing, man? What are some things that like particularly like stand out to you that made you laugh, or little details?
Well, obviously the phone call, like we already talked about. I mean, that was immediate, right off the bat. So you see what's going on. The lovemaking scene. I loved when she was, I don't know, I forget what song it was, and she was separating all of her recyclables in her house into like 3 different cans.
Oh,
and you look out the window, and her neighbor's just like throwing shit like,
I don't have room in my kitchen.
Styrofoam peanuts flying everywhere. And another of my favorite bits was every time we saw those two, the recycle guys or garbage men, whatever they were.
Gus and Sloppy.
Yeah. Gus and Sloppy. They were fantastic.
Everybody, what did she say? Everybody deserves a drink now and again.
Yeah.
They're all subtly alcoholics in this movie. Like she's
Yeah.
slipping them things. She goes over. She has the whole thing with Dottie Hinkle during the trial. Like, oh, were you drinking during that luncheon?
I think the way she pulls apart everybody's testimony is hilarious, and that really does help the trial. That helps the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I agree. I don't dislike it. I just think this is more front-loaded than it is towards the back.
Yep.
I like more of the murdering escapades and, like, because it really amps up. Like, once she starts getting into a role, into a role of what she's doing, she really starts fucking going nuts.
She does.
And I don't know if this is true or not. I'm assuming because they said it, but they make a comment in the movie that she's Baltimore or Maryland's first serial killer. I wonder if Maryland has never had a serial killer case before.
Well, you have the DC sniper.
DC.
Yeah, that's DC. That's
DC. Yeah. I mean,
I know it's close,
right there.
but also let's not forget that was like 8 years after this, or like 10 years after this.
Yeah, true.
They when they're driving to the church and all the cops. That's a great scene too. They get up to go to church, and every cop. It's like in the Dark Knight Rises when every cop goes underground. Every single cop in Baltimore is lined up in front of their house and follow her to church.
And you know what's great about that scene is all the doors in the cop car is closing one after another. And you hear every single door.
Yeah. The church sermon is all about the
death penalty.
The death penalty. Running theme throughout this movie is the death penalty.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's some fantastic quotes in this movie.
Yes.
And one of them is by that priest or pastor, whatever it was, talking about the death penalty. What does he say about? I think I have it written down here.
Trying to remember, was it Cain and Abel or was it Jesus?
It was Jesus one. Hold on. Oh, here we go. All right. So Father Boyce, when he's in church and he's basically preaching about the death penalty and how they should kill people, he says, Jesus said nothing to condemn capital punishment as he hung on the cross, did he?
Yeah. Yeah, one of his last thoughts running through his head.
Yeah.
Now, one of my favorite other scenes in this movie is when she sneezes in the baby's face.
Oh, yeah. Also at church.
And the mom freaks out.
Screams.
Just a straight up hawker in this kid's fucking face.
Yeah.
Like, I wondered when I watched it, I'm like, did she have to spit in that baby's face for this scene? Because I can picture John Waters being like, your baby's going to get his face spit in.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be in this movie, you want your baby in this movie, Kathleen Turner and or someone standing in for her is going to spit in your baby's face.
Walking into church, that entire scene is just so good. Like you got like Chip's girlfriend, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come sit with us," and her parents won't let her go, and he's like, "What? Wait, what? What's going on?"
Yeah, he doesn't get it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody seems to get the fact that like mom really probably is doing this stuff.
Yeah.
Now we go back a little bit where we think she's going to kill Scotty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And instead, I like the fact
Also,
that,
another classic TV type moment. Like, I don't know if you guys ever had this. Like, you're in the middle of dinner and mom suddenly just like writes on the whiteboard,
Yeah,
"Oh,
and
I'm
then
going
she
to the
just
store."
leaves.
and I like the fact that she gets up and leaves. You hear the door, and I think you hear the car, and then Ricky Lake gets up and goes, "She's gone." It's like, yeah, no shit, she's gone. But the fact that like she doesn't end up killing Scotty, she goes and kills those two people that like that said
the dentist,
the
people.
the
dental
dentist
patient.
people.
Yeah.
The husband is such a fucking cretin in this. He's one of like when they're eating,
I love
gross.
the space between his front teeth.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
When they're eating, they're both gluttonous and obviously eating.
That scene of them eating the roasted chicken.
You know, you gonna watch Wheel of Fortune? I'm having dessert. You know, it's like I was kind of happy that she killed them.
Yeah, I was actually very happy she killed them. Also, like randomly, like they just ate dinner, and like the wife's getting ready for bed to watch Wheel of Fortune, like in bed and fall asleep.
Oh, this is
man.
something you have to look forward to
Yeah,
when
this is what happens
when you get to your advanced age.
after 40.
I'm not saying this hasn't happened to me. What time is it right now? Are we done yet? I'm so tired. I did love the fact that it just made me laugh is that we recorded with our buddy Scary Larry a few weeks ago, and he told the story about how he dropped an air conditioner out of a window. And
Yeah, we just talked about that.
Luckily, it did not hurt anybody, and that's how she kills the husband.
Yeah.
She stabs the wife in the stomach with the
Scissors.
With the scissors, which
You know, people don't die immediately from a stab in the stomach.
well, I don't think she died immediately. I think she was like
I
kind
don't
of
know.
fighting
She
for her
was
life.
dead.
I think you got 20 minutes tops at
Yeah.
that.
Jesus, Anders knows too much about that.
I tell you, I watch a
been
lot of
reading
Law
a lot
and
of
Order.
books.
I was gonna say. And then she drops the air conditioner on the husband. So this is when everything kicks in overdrive. I think her best choice of murder weapon is the next murder, the after church murder, though, because what the fuck does she use, Anders?
Are we talking about Scotty?
Well, no, Scotty's the last one.
So yes, that's right. Before Scotty.
The sun will come out
Tomorrow. So
Right.
this is actually, I was going to call this out. This is one of my favorite, like, small moments. She goes in, this woman who is really, really pissed that she's finally getting charged for not rewinding her videotape.
Right.
At the video store, and Chip finally charges her for it.
I like how he makes it a point to say, too, like he doesn't say it, but he's like, I'm charging you this time.
Exactly.
Because he warns her. She says, I don't think I have to. And you know from the way he says it that he's let her do this a million times.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody, now I'm assuming you're old enough to remember,
Be kind, rewind.
be kind, rewind. Don't be a dickbag, and you are going to get charged $1 if you don't.
I do remember. I mean, there were specific rewinder products.
There
Well,
were.
you
Because it
Yeah.
was supposed
There
to
was
mess
tape
up your
rewinders.
VCR if you did it too much.
We had one in my house when I was a kid that looked like a car. It was like a fucking sports car. Sat on the next to the VCR, and you popped it in there, and it was cool.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The lady's back at our house. She's watching Annie. She's singing along. The dog's licking her feet.
Yep.
And
What do you think they put on those feet to get that dog
I
to
actually
lick 'em?
read that. I could be wrong because I didn't write it down. It might have been butter.
Okay.
Okay.
I was thinking peanut butter.
But the fact that
yeah,
like
butter.
she says like lick mommy's feet until
Get 'em all wet.
Get them all wet. I went, oh no, we're not going there. Are
No,
we?
she deserves to die now.
Honestly, I was okay with her getting fired. Well, between her blasé attitude about rewinding videotapes, which we all know, even you know, and you're a young guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she definitely deserves. And you know, for anybody to go to a retail establishment when they give you a rule and just go, I'm not doing that.
No.
Yeah,
No.
fuck you,
I wonder
lady.
if her name is Karen.
Yeah, it
Oh,
very well
geez.
could be.
All right,
Nice.
so Beverly is coming up with a butcher knife, and then out of nowhere, she suddenly decides, you know what? No, puts it back in her purse, goes in, and gets a leg of lamb.
Leg of lamb.
Yeah.
A leg of lamb.
Leg of lamb. Not
Did you notice that sandwich she was eating?
okay. I was
All
just
right,
going.
let's go
there.
back to the sandwich.
Just going there real quick. Now we know it's leg of lamb.
Yeah.
Was that mint jelly on
Yes,
the bread?
that's why we know
Alright.
it was leg of lamb.
Yeah.
Oh fuck
That's
that.
what you
it
have
was-
with leg of
it
lamb.
was
I don't
green.
personally enjoy eating it, but I know that's what you're supposed to have with
Yeah.
lamb.
I don't like. I don't do mint as a food, right? So I brush my teeth. I will chew gum. That's as close as I'll get. But I'm not doing mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Mint leaves in pho?
No, I take
Huh?
them out.
No,
I don't
you
put them
don't
in.
use 'em?
If
I
they
love
give
'em.
them, I don't put them in.
Mojitos?
Mojitos, maybe in a drink I could deal with it, like as like crushed up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I remember when I was growing up, my mom used to make lamb, and my dad would use mint jelly on the lamb. But like, I never had a lamb sandwich.
Yeah.
So
No, never.
when she's
Not
making
on like
the
plain
sandwich,
white bread, especially.
right? She's making a fucking lamb sandwich on Wonder Bread essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why is the condiment green? And then I'm like, is that mint? Like, this all doesn't work. None of this works. This lamb sandwich with mint fucking jelly on the bread. This lady deserves to die. Again.
is gross.
And then she does, because she gets beaten with the leg of lamb, and she's even like singing along with Annie as
yeah.
she's doing it. She's hitting it. She's like, it's a day.
Yeah.
No
Yeah, right.
way.
Now, at one point, doesn't she actually say, like, rewind?
At the end.
At the
that's
end,
what
she
says.
hits rewind on the tape before she leaves.
Okay. All right. So I must have missed that. I remember her saying it, but I guess I didn't realize that she also
Rewind.
rewinded it. Oh, man. So she ends up chasing Scotty across
Then
the
she
whole
chases
town.
Scotty,
Yeah.
yep.
Scotty's in this, like, classic, like, whatever his car was. I can't remember.
I do actually want that car.
And she cannot lose him. He cannot lose her. She's in she commandeers like a cop would, like a E-150 van.
Yeah.
Get out of your car. And he's like, yes, ma'am.
After she's stabbed through the convertible top, however much that would
That's
cost to
right.
replace.
Yeah, that's no good.
Yep.
Wearing your seatbelt's the law, man.
Yeah, absolutely. She does not like the seatbelt.
Seatbelt.
She does not like the seatbelt. Lloyd, they end up at the concert hall.
Yeah, what day was this? Still that Sunday?
It was a Sunday.
Same one.
This
This
is
is
where
still
this
after
is where
church.
I'm confused because I've never seen like a rock concert punk show in a Sunday afternoon.
I have.
in a town.
I
like that.
have. I don't know about like that kind of show, but like here in Wallingford, we have Cherry Street Station.
Yeah.
They do weekend shows all the time.
Okay.
And it wasn't supposed to be L7. It was supposed to be Camel Lips.
Camel Lips.
So you're assuming that they're much lower, a
Right.
smaller band.
Yeah.
Because I thought the same thing. I thought this is a lot happening on a Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know, it's just
Yeah.
a lot for a Sunday. But she chases him. He goes into the concert. He's mixing in with the crowd. At the same time, her family is coming in as well, and so she sees her husband out there, and she sees Scotty too. But then she starts pretending to kind of like bop her head to the music, and I think she's like sticks her fingers in her ears and does a funny face to her husband.
But she gets into the club.
Yeah.
Like the bouncer's like, "Holy shit, you're serial
Yeah,
mom."
you're serial.
Yeah.
Mom. Yeah, see, that's another thing because this is a satire on, true crime and serial killers and stuff, and everyone's cheering her on, kind of like Mickey and Mallory, Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But instead, it's a serial mom. And even when they go to the trial, Misty's outside,
Selling
selling
t-shirts.
T-shirts.
Yeah.
But she goes into the concert hall and she eventually burns him. She gets a lighter and what does she use to spray?
It's like a hairspray or something. After she gets the lights to drop.
Oh, that's right.
She gets the whole
She
rigging.
cuts a whole rigging and the lights fall down on poor Scotty, and then she burns him. And then when he's running around on stage burning, Elle said the singer from Camel Lips, she drinks like a whiskey or something,
Oh my
and then
God.
fucking just blows fire on the
She
dude.
fucking Gene Simmons him.
Yeah.
Like, he's almost out. Maybe he would have lived. And then she fucking burns him again.
Yeah, incredible.
So
She's
this is
a
enough.
murderer.
This is enough. They finally take her in.
Yep.
And she ends up going into trial.
Yep.
She fires her defense attorney. and says she wants to go do it herself. And the judge is basically like, this is not going to work out well for you. But like you said before, she tears everybody's shit apart.
Everyone.
With her verbal judo. Like, she takes Dottie's character and assassinates it.
Yep.
By like just twisting words a little bit. Are you saying?
She gets her of perjury.
She gets her to freak out to the point where she's like yelling what she's like.
It's like, you bitch,
you bitch, you. She's screaming at her.
Cocksucker, fuck you.
And Suzanne Summers shows up because the media circus. They're selling T-shirts. Chip is trying to set up deals with.
There's already a movie.
There's
planned.
A movie deal.
Who is it? It's
Carl's
like Carl's brother shows up to like punch Chip, and he's like, "Dude, have you signed yet?"
Yeah.
He punches Chip in the face for revenge for his brother.
Because Carl was murdered by Serial Mom, so
Right.
his brother's coming to sort of exact some revenge of some way.
He gets one shot in, and then as soon as Chip brings up like the rights, he's like, "Well, is there something to sign?" Like he immediately, this whole thing, it's very funny.
You guys, we mentioned the photographer. He's got like a book,
yes,
and there's like the housewives in line, like waiting to get autographs from the author, and they're like, "God, I wish I could just kill somebody today too."
Yeah, and what do we jump like 6 months ahead in time?
Yeah,
through the trial and. What does the pin the father's wearing say?
So this is the thing. So finally, after all of this, we open the movie with the father being like, some crime, some murder, and he's like, whoever did this should just get the death penalty. They should be killed. His pin is like death penalty with a red X through it.
Right.
That's what it said.
All of a sudden, he's anti-death penalty because it affects his personal life.
Yeah. I've never heard anybody do that before.
No, of course not.
Wavering and floundering. But she's noticed something about one of the jurors. Lloyd, what does she keep looking at on one of the jurors?
Oh boy.
So she keeps looking at one of the jurors. It's juror number 8. And the problem is juror number 8 is wearing white shoes. Every single outfit, every day of the trial, different pair of white shoes.
Another one of the funniest scenes in the movie is when she sees this, gets the yellow pad.
Oh, yeah.
This is in the early part of the trial.
Yeah.
The lawyer is going over something incredibly important, and she's writing something crazily on the pad. And now I think I knew what it was, even not seeing this movie. But like you would think, it's got to be something about like what he's saying. She gets his attention. She points to the pad and says, "Juror number 8 is wearing white shoes after Labor Day." That is one of the funniest fucking scenes in this movie.
It is good.
And she's pointing with the pen to the fucking paper.
And she interacts with the jury a number of times as well.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the one guy...
Oh, yeah, he's got something like on his cheek.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and then she gets Marvin Pickles.
Yep.
Marvin Pickles, who was in the glory hole seat, who saw her kill Carl.
Saw her in the bathroom.
Bathroom and was essentially there for when she killed Carl. He gets called to the stand, and the way she gets him on her side, because I think he even says he's going to testify against her.
Yeah.
Is that she pulls a Sharon Stone on him. She's like
pumping her legs.
You can't even see anything.
You don't see anything other than...
You just see her legs scissoring in and out,
She just slinks.
Like she's working an abductor machine.
Yeah, she slinks in her chair. And then under the table, you could tell she's just flashing him her beeve over and over again. And this guy is out. He hangs out in glory holes. So this is the kind of thing that will fluster him to the point where he'll agree with anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, I didn't see shit. And the cops are like, you fucking said. And this is essentially what gets her off. She gets off. Everybody's happy. Suzanne Summers is like,
great thing about
awesome.
Great thing about that moment is the reaction of the family. Like they are initially like relieved. They're happy. Oh my God, she got off. Like, yes, this nightmare is over.
Yeah.
And then she turns around. It's like, I'm coming home. And they all were like,
oh,
fuck.
Yeah, they never thought that far ahead. They never thought like, oh shit, she's going to be home with us again. And I think they also know that she's not going to change.
Oh, no way.
Which we learn how the movie ends. Is what happens to juror number 8?
Oh God, juror number 8. She's on the payphone out in the courtroom. She's on the phone with somebody, and she's like, "We did it! Like we set this woman free. I knew she was innocent right from the start." And Beverly manages to slip in and hangs up the phone for her. It's like, "Yo, you can't wear white shoes after Labor Day." She's like, "Fashion's changed. It's fine." And she uses the payphone to murder the juror in the courthouse lobby.
Now, am I correct in remembering? Like she says, the fashion's changed, which is great.
Yeah,
doesn't
like,
she hit her once, and she's like,
It has.
No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even after she hit her, she came back like the juror was going to come back and convince her otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
the juror was still trying to
Yeah.
plead her case
After
Yeah.
she'd been hit. Yeah,
and that's one of the funniest moments of the whole fucking movie is the fact that the juror's like, "We got her off. Awesome, we did it." You know, like, and then she kills her anyway.
Yeah.
And she gets caught for it, and the movie ends right there. Right. The
Then
movie
she
ends
comes
right there.
back to Suzanne Summers.
for a
and-
photo op.
Yeah.
right for the photo op. That's right. And the movie essentially ends right there on that.
With a nice little note that says Beverly Sutphin refused to cooperate with the making of this
Yeah.
film, like just keeping with the little true crime bit
Right.
that's been running throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
And we didn't mention how it begins. You know, the placard essentially
Yeah.
telling you.
It begins saying that this is based on a true story, which it is not.
Right. It's
No,
not based
not
on
at
a
all.
story. I love how, like, with the last line of that is, nobody was compensated for this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, Manster, let's do some box office. Let's find out what came out right around Serial Mom that might have crushed it in the movie theaters.
Well, on the weekend this came out, April 13th, 1994, it made $2 million on opening weekend. So virtually like a quarter of its budget right there, a quarter of its box office. So that came in at number 11 for first week. It came in at number 11 that week. There were actually 3 number one release, first week release movies that beat it that week. See if you know any of these. White Fang 2, Myth of the White Wolf.
I think White Fang, was that a Jack London thing?
I think so.
Yeah,
Maybe.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
But I don't know it.
The idea that there was a sequel to that, I had no idea.
Yeah, right. I had no idea. Surviving the Game.
Oh, Ice-T and Rucker Hauer.
Oh, is that what
I
that
saw
is?
that in the theaters. That's
Really?
probably what I saw instead of Serial Mom.
Well, that beat
It's
Serial Mom, yeah.
Surviving the Game. It's a Rucker Hauer and Gary Busey might be in it. They're it's the essential old rich guys hunting a homeless guy. And
Oh,
it's
is it one of
Ice-T.
those?
Yeah.
Okay. The Paper. I'm sorry. Cops and Robertsons.
Never saw
Nope.
it, but I know it. I've heard of
never
that.
saw
Yeah.
that. Also, first week of release. That came in number 2 that week. Number 1 that week was 4 Weddings and a Funeral in its 6th week. And also right before Serial Mom at number 10 was Schindler's List in its 18th week.
I've seen that
Yeah.
once.
Just once. That's all.
Just
that's
once.
all you
Saw in
need.
the theaters, and that was. I can only handle so much depression.
Were you making out with anybody during it?
No. I'm not a scumbag like Jerry Seinfeld.
All right, so on the year, in 1994, Serial Mom made $7.8 million, came in at number 121.
Wow.
So it came in right above Sirens. Do you remember Sirens?
No.
It was one of those. It had Elle McPherson was in it.
Oh,
I think
yeah. I do.
Sam Neill.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah,
I think
I
it was an
actually saw that
Australian
movie.
movie. Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And right before it, at 120, was Hoop Dreams.
Oh, we
which
talked about
we
that
talked
very
about
recently. Yeah.
And that was just a documentary. So.
Yes. It did better than Serial
Right.
Mom.
All right. So the rest top 10 of that year. Number 10, Pulp Fiction, 107 million by
You
comparison.
can hear us talk about it on the QT
Yes, you can.
episode 2.
Number 9, The Mask. Number 8, Speed. Number 7, Clear and Present Danger. Number 6, Dumb and Dumber. Number 5, The Flintstones.
Eef.
The Flintstones with
Terrible fucking movie.
no, that was a great movie. Come
No,
on.
it was
Still better
terrible.
than Viva Rock Vegas.
I never saw the second one. I couldn't go past this the first
No,
one.
you don't like Rosie McDonald?
No, I actually don't.
No. That's too bad. Number 4, The Santa Claus. Number 3, a great movie, True Lies.
Yes.
Great movie.
Yep.
Another great movie. Number 2, The Lion King.
Yep.
And number 1, Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1994. Absolutely.
Good year for movies. that
It
year.
was a good year. It was a good year. All right. So that being said, I think it's time we rate Serial Mom. Pint and Comics rules apply. What are Pint and Comics rules? 0 to 5, quarter and half scale optional. So let's start. We're going to start this one with the Master, and we'll finish with Anders, our guest. What do you give 1994's Kathleen Turner, starring John Waters, directed Serial Mom?
Serial Mom. This is a funny movie, as you can tell just listening to us. Right off the bat, it's funny. As soon as she gets into that phone call, there's no beating around the bush. There's no mystery. It just gets right to it, and it keeps it coming. Kathleen Turner plays this with a bit of realism. It's a campy movie, but I think it's really dealing with her mental illness, and she kind of plays it it was a little confusing to me because I don't know. Sometimes I'm like horrified, but I kind of feel like I should be laughing instead.
Right.
You know, this movie does that to you. But it keeps, you know, it's vintage John Waters tastelessness, a lot of murders, but the joke is kind of one note. You know, it's sort of the same thing over and over. But I'm still giving it a pretty decent score. I'm going 3.25 out of 5.
All right. So I'll go next. I give Anders the gold star approval in terms of bringing a movie that I didn't really know if I was going to like or not. And we've had people bring movies that we know. We've had people bring movies that I don't know and it doesn't turn out to be great. Whatever. This was a surprise to me. The cast is great in this movie. I laughed a lot in this movie. I like the aesthetic and the style of it a lot. I like I do think that it's front loaded and kind of goes when it gets towards the end, but it also becomes more, about her rage and her illness and the murdering by the end. She's just like laser focused by the end. It starts off where she's like just making these weird phone calls because she kind of can't control herself, and then she kills a teacher because she kind of can't control herself, and then it's literally she's the T-1000 chasing after like Sarah fucking John Connor with the Scotty thing at the end. She's like gonna kill him even though she's in a room full of people because they're enabling her, like you said, the serial mom. Get in, serial mom, come on in. It's a satire. It comments a lot on the celebrity of these killers, which in 94 was a thing, but I mean, every look, if we ever wanted to like up our podcast ratings, like without even putting a new episode out, just change to true crime, and we would immediately somehow get 500 more listeners because that's what world we live in right now. People love this stuff.
Yeah, it was ahead of its time.
Absolutely ahead of its time. It's sad that it didn't do any better in the theaters, but it is a cult classic. All right, I think people know this one. When I posted that we were watching it, or I posted that I watched it the other night, people were like, "Fucking Serial Mom!" Like people know this. Yeah, I'm gonna go higher than you. I was very close to hitting 4.
Wow,
very close. But some things, like I said, kind of kept it down to 3.75. I'm going 3.75.
Right. Okay.
I absolutely totally enjoyed it. I'm gonna use the word we've used before. It's a solid 3.75.
Solid 3.75.
It almost hit 4.
Mine was a solid 3.25.
Yeah, I just couldn't get it to the 4, but it was almost a 4. All right. So you can find them on Bohemian Geek Studies. You can find them on yet another Star Wars podcast on Forgotten Entertainment. Both of these, by the way, on ForgottenEntertainment.com. Mr. Anders Drew, if that's his real name, brought us Serial Mom. What do you give it?
So I gotta give it, I'm gonna go just a little bit higher than you on that one. I mean, like I said, this movie is one of those ones I feel like I have been championing for several years. Anytime people are like, "Hey, I don't know what to watch," I'm like, "Yo, have you seen Serial Mom? You haven't? Let's watch Serial Mom," because you will just laugh the entire time. I can kind of agree with you. It's a little one note, like the joke stays the same. But at the same time, this movie's a tight, 95, 97 minutes.
Oh,
which really does help.
It doesn't stop. There's no real lull in it. You were laughing the whole time. Looking back at it now, it's just like, even the parts about it that maybe aren't the best are just like quintessential 90s tropes that are going into it. I'm going with the 4.25.
Wow. Ooh, 4.25. All right.
That's a good score.
All right, that is a good score. Some people bring movies on these that they love. Some people bring ones they just want to talk about. So you brought one you obviously love. So
I do.
Cool.
I love this movie.
Yeah,
that's very cool. All right, Manster, why don't you tell everybody where they can find Pint of Comics?
Check out our website at pintofcomics.com, and to hear our new On the QT episodes, you can go to forgottenentertainment.com. Subscribe to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can get podcasts there too. Special video reviews from G.I. Gary.
That's right.
On Facebook and Twitter, it's at Pint of Comics, and on Instagram, it's at Pint_O_comics.
And if you're curious whether you should listen to On the QT, here's this will either
tell them about that.
This will make you listen to it or it won't. We talk about Quentin Tarantino movies. We bring guests from Pint of Comics on every episode. We pick them by random to do each movie. And here's the secret of it all. If you like Pint of Comics, it's the same fucking show.
It's the same thing.
We're not doing anything differently except we're just focusing on Quentin Tarantino movies. Now, If you don't like it, number one, thank you for listening. I don't know why you'd be listening, but stay away from it because it's the same thing. So you get us twice a week now for the next 10 weeks at the very least. And then who knows, we might do something else. So
Maybe.
On from us, Anders, where can everybody find you guys?
So, yeah, you can find me on the Bohemian Geek Studies podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. That's at Geek Studies on Twitter, at Bohemian Geek Studies on Instagram. And then yet another Star Wars podcast. Again, anywhere you're downloading podcasts, anywhere you subscribe on YouTube. That's at YASW Pod on Twitter and Instagram.
All right. Would you like to join us to do an episode on maybe like the top 10 movie villains of all time? Your favorite?
Yeah, I think I could squeeze that
That'd
in.
be a good idea.
I think that'd be great.
All right, let's do that.
All right, cool.
All right, cool.
All right. Manster, what do you say?
Listen to your filthy mouth, you fucking whore! See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!